Okay guys, this is going to be just an update on Hurricane Irene. We're not going to talk about the other storms. There is officially a typhoon over in the Pacific Ocean and a tropical depression also. The typhoon does have an eye and everything else. So for those of you in the Pacific Ocean, over in that general area over there, Philippines, whatever, you guys need to get prepared for your storm. Irene is right here, guys. It's basically due west of North Florida. Putting Florida basically in the clear at this point, for the most part. Not completely. You're probably still going to get a little bit of storm surge coming down from the north, but you're basically in the clear. Georgia, throughout the day here, as the day progresses, you may start to get, as the heat of the day comes in and this thing begins to develop its storms, you may get some rain coming in, but you're pretty much in the clear for the most part, other than a little bit of rain on the west coast of Georgia there. South Carolina, you're not in the clear yet, and as I've said in the original video talking about the extreme event of Irene, that starting with South Carolina or North Carolina, one or the other, that's where the rain and wind event will get started, and then it'll travel all the way up the east coast. Okay, so the entire east coast will be affected by this storm. Many people have made a comment about the wind shear coming off of the northern part of the storm, saying that it's the jet stream causing this. And what I want to do is take a look at something here. Okay, what we're going to do here, let me slow this down just a little bit. Okay, everybody's talking about that wind shear. Now watch it over here. You've got the wind shear going on over here as well. Okay, it's been going on from the beginning of Irene. Irene has not wanted to travel west. It's being forced to the west. Irene wanted to travel north, just like this new tropical depression out here is wanting to travel north, and it probably will, unless they start messing around with it as well. Then it will be forced to the west. Otherwise, it's going to go to the northwest. Okay, this one over here. This one has been wanting to go to the north as well, but it's being forced to the west, and that's why you're getting these bands kicked off to the east. Okay, because it's wanting to go north, but it's being forced to the west. Okay, this has been going on from the beginning. You can see the upper bands continually being pushed to the east. It's not about the jet stream. It's about this storm being tracked and pushed where it's not wanting to go. Okay? So, just so you have an idea of what's going on there. Okay, now as far as wind shear, there is wind shear, and it's on the west side of the storm. Okay, if this wind shear wasn't here, all these clouds would be wrapping around literally through South Carolina, majority of Georgia, and pretty much all of Florida would be getting nailed with the outer bands of this hurricane at this point. Okay, but that's not the case. That's not what's happening. Okay, because you have a dry pocket of air sitting right here. Here, I'll show you that real quick. Okay, if you look here, this is all dry air. Okay, even all the way down into Florida. Okay, it's all dry air. That's what's keeping the storm from taking its bands all the way out and around this entire storm. Okay, so those of you that have been praying, I know of at least 160 people that are praying right now, which is wonderful. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot more than 160 people praying, but there is at least 160 people praying right now, which is unbelievable that many people would be praying. Now you can see the eye of the storm here, and it fades away as the day goes forward. It will be coming back as the day goes forward, as the heat of the day comes forward, and this thing is able to strengthen a little bit more. Now it has fallen down to 110 mile per hour winds, and that's good. But remember that all hurricanes, as they approach land, which this one's probably going to be hitting the very edge of North Carolina, the eye of the storm probably will. Not guaranteed. It may be out here in the water, which would be better. But wherever it hits, by the time it gets there, it's probably going to strengthen and be back up to 115, 118 mile an hour winds by the time it actually makes landfall. As the day goes forward, again, you can see the bands going in the opposite direction here, being pushed out to sea. But the hurricane itself has not weakened. The structure of it has not weakened at all, so it's still there. As the heat of the day goes forward, Remember, this is extremely warm water. This thing will build and will expand as the day goes forward. So by this afternoon, guys, expect rain in North Carolina for sure. Perhaps even in South Carolina. Not guaranteed in South Carolina, but for sure starting in North Carolina through Virginia, on up the coast through Pennsylvania, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, so forth and so on. And remember that up here in the northeast is where all your low-lying cities are, and it doesn't take much rain to cause flooding. But as this thing begins to move forward, it is going to be hitting up against this dry air here, and this basically, it's kind of like a front of water vapor is going to begin to come up against the hurricane itself. So there's what's going on with that. We're going to look at one more thing, and then we're going to end this video. Okay, here's your current radar. Okay, now remember, this is all dry air in here, and most of Florida. Okay, you can start to see that the rain is starting to move into South Carolina at this point, and the storm surge would be basically right in here somewhere. Okay, like I said, get ready, North Carolina. You're the target for the rain event and the wind event, and then it'll be traveling right up along this coastline. So all you guys all throughout here, basically from South Carolina, starting where the mouse is, all the way in through the center of actually, it'd probably be more like this. This entire area is going to be affected. Okay, anything to the west of my mouse is probably going to be affected by the rain. The wind event's going to probably be from right about here on up to the coast. Okay, probably even Washington a little bit, but all the way throughout here, we'll be getting probably 60-mile-an-hour plus winds, and the closer you get to the coast, the higher the wind. So be prepared. If you live in North Carolina, again, I'd move inland. If you live out on the islands, you might as well just call it quits. I mean, it's game over. It's going to be hitting you guys pretty severely. But if you live along the coastlines here, you need to move inland, okay? Because this is going to be a super severe rain event and wind event for North Carolina, at least, and then on up the coast. Okay, so there's what you have, guys. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll watch what it's doing. Be prepared. This is not a minor storm. This is a pretty significant storm, even though it's only a hurricane category 3. Don't let it fool you. Just because they say it's category 3 doesn't mean it's weak. This is a large system. Okay, and as this thing moves forward, it may even start to draw moisture out of the Gulf over through Florida. I don't know. Okay, we'll have to watch and see. We'll have to watch and see what's going to happen there. Alright, guys, get in the word, stay in the word. I love you guys. I'll talk with you guys soon.